So either you're starting to get licenses or you have a lot of licenses, but you're not organized and keeping track of them and making sure you got enough CEUs. Well, today I'm going to share with you my top tips on how I keep all of my licenses organized, on track to make sure that not only do I not miss a renewal, but I'm also up to date with my CEUs. So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about what I do in order to keep organized and on top of not only my licenses, but continuing education credits. Because when I started, this was my system. I still have everything from back then. It's full of pieces of paper, the receipts and everything from when I was applying to license. I also then had a piece of paper and I was trying to keep track of everything, and it wasn't really sustainable as I continued to keep growing my licenses. So I created a system. It is a multiple layer system because I always want to make sure that I'm on top of not only my continuing education, but my licenses, because at the end of the day, this is what's providing me my income or all my state licenses. And especially if you're working on a platform where maybe one license that they're really focusing, they count on you for, let's say, Arizona, right? And all of a sudden your license expired, you can no longer work in that state anymore. And that may have a little bit of issue with your income at that point, depending on what the job is. Maybe it's a 1099 and it's a contract job, and they're depending on you, and now they can't send you any more patients, and therefore you're not making any money. So in this video, I'm going to just talk to you about my multiple layer system that I've created for myself, that you can adapt any of them that you like in order to stay on track when it comes to your licensing and your CEUs. But before we get started, if you like these videos and find them helpful, it would be really truly grateful on my part if you can go down below and subscribe to my channel so that you're alerted whenever I have a new video that popped out. It really helps support my community as I continue to grow it, and hopefully you'll be able to get some great information out of the videos that I provide here. Okay, so let's start off with just organizing your licenses. Now, as I said before, this used to be my organization, and it just wasn't getting sustainable as I continue to grow the amount of licenses they have. Now, in order to stay organized, there are several things that you can do. There are several platforms out there that you can sign up for a membership. You can put your license and all of your information in that you can absolutely use. Or you could create a Google spreadsheet, for example, of organizing all of your licenses, because not only do you have your licenses, you have your license numbers, you have your expiration date, you have also when you're applying for licenses, you're going to also need to have that date of when you were first issued that date. Then you have your portal links, you have your user ID, your password, which, as we know, after so many times, we have to change the password because they require you to update your password every once in a while. So you have all of these things that you need to organize, and it could be a little bit difficult on a piece of paper, which if you want to do a piece of paper, is absolutely perfectly fine. But creating some kind of one source that you have all of that information in. I did create a Google spreadsheet that has all of that information in there that I do have for sale. I will put the link down below if you're interested in taking a look at that. But I would highly recommend getting some kind of spreadsheet or a piece of paper, or signing up for some kind of service where you're able to input all of that information so that you have it all in one place and you don't have it scattered in pieces of paper or all over the place, having everything centralized in one place. All right, let's talk about CEU organization. That is also going to be important because when you are renewing, you have to make sure that you have done the continuing education requirements that are required for that state. So it's really important to also organize your continuing education credits. Sorry about that. So you do always have the option if you signed up for a certain continuing education website, you're always able to organize them in there. There's CE broker as well that also reports to certain licensed states when you do finish certain requirements for that state. So you can absolutely do that as well. Or you can also have some kind of spreadsheet that also organizes all of your continuing education credits. Again, I do have a spreadsheet that I created that I actually have your licenses organized along with your CEUs in there, where I'm able to not only put the name of it, the date, is it pharmacology, is it general, and then a spot to upload those certificates, because at the end of the day, if one day you get audited, if you have everything all in one place, it kind of just makes it easier. So we talked about just having them organized, right? We just have organizing all of your licenses in one spot, and then also organizing your CEUs in either the same place, or if you wanted to use different platforms for it, whatever you feel comfortable with. But the next thing that I want to talk to you about is how to make sure that you don't miss a renewal date, and also to how to track and make sure that you're on track when it comes to your continuing education credits. So when it comes to my state licenses, I actually have a multiple layered system because I definitely want to make sure that I do not miss a renewal date. And that has happened to me in the beginning of my telemedicine career, and it was not a really great situation, as it did interfere with one of my jobs. So I always want to make sure that I am on top of my license renewals. So I have a multiple layer system. One of the first things that I did is I signed up for what I call as nurses. I'm not quite sure if that's what it's really called. It's the NURSYS. It's a nursing system. It is a national database of all RN license. Well, not all. Not every state participates in it, but the majority of state licenses, they have LPNs, and they do have some nurse practitioner licenses that are in there as well. And it is the system that you use in order to apply when you're applying for state licenses. You're able to get a verification of all your state licenses from this system. I'm not sure if you know this, but they do actually have a free tool that if you sign up for it, it will alert you when there's any change in any of your licenses, and it'll also let you know when your renewal is up for, it's coming up. So it's a really great system. It's free, and it's a great layer. And literally, if there's any change in a state license, it alerts you immediately. So it's really, really cool. And again, it'll say, hey, your license is coming up for renewal. So I definitely recommend signing up for that free tool. The next system that I use is a Google Calendar. Whenever I get a new license and I get the new expiration, I go to that date and I put January 1st of 2026. And then I make a task, and then I create notifications. I create a notification 30 days before, 60 days before, and 90 days before. That way I'm on top of it, that it's going to alert me when I'm getting closer and closer to that expiration. So again, simple, it's free, it's your Google Calendar, putting those expirations on those dates with those notifications as well. And my third layer is my license organizer that I kind of mentioned before. On the license organizer that I have an overview tab that has all of my licenses, and it has the expiration, and then right next to that it has green is good, we're good to go, and then we have yellow 90-day frame, orange 60-day, and when it's the last 30 days it's a big red. So I do a regular check. I put it on my calendar. I typically do it every 3 months. I put it on my Google Calendar, check all my licenses, and I go in there also just to make sure that I've got that last layer to keep me on track when it comes to my license renewal dates. So that is my 3-layer system that I have to make sure that I'm on track when it comes to my state licenses. I have the nursing system, I have my Google Calendar, And then I have my organizer with my overview tab that I check, I would say every 3 months, to get that visualization to see where I'm coming down. Now, you may say, really, Lori, a 3-layer system? Well, yes, I do, because I always want to make sure that I'm on top of my licenses. You may want to adopt one of them, and that is totally fine. Again, this is my system. This is a system that works for me, and I really love my system. So again, these are my experience. This is what I use, and I find it helpful. And one little note that I do want to say is that sometimes we do have jobs and we have a licenses and credentialing department, which will help us stay organized with our licenses. And I think that those are great. I think they're so helpful. A lot of these licensing credentialing people are amazing and they're so helpful. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be your responsibility to make sure that you are on track when it comes to your licenses. So my recommendation is don't solely rely on them. Make sure that you at least have one system to make sure that you're on top of your licenses, because again, at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to make sure that you're on top of your license renewals. So let's now get into continuing education credits, because I don't know about you, but I think that these are the biggest pain in the bum, especially considering that all these states require something different. So I have a kind of system that I do in order to keep them not only organized, but then also to make sure that I'm on top of making sure that I'm meeting those requirements that need to get done for each state license. So what I do to make sure that I'm meeting my continuing education credits is I actually dedicate a set amount of time every month on my Google Calendar that I actually do one continuing education little course every month. And this way, when I do that, I'm constantly going. I always have enough credits when it comes to the state licenses. And then also what I do is when I'm looking at what licenses are coming up, I have in my license organizer with my CEU, I do have a tab in there that I have all of the links to every state license and the requirement, the CEU credit requirements. So what I do is if I look at my overview, I can see that I'm going to go pick on Arizona again. Arizona is coming up in about 3 months. Okay, let me go over to Arizona. Let me look at what are the requirements. And then I look at everything that I have and I make sure, okay, I got that one. I got that one. I got that one. Oh, I didn't have that one. So this month I'm going to dedicate to doing that one continuing education. So again, every month I have a dedicated slot on my Google Calendar that I make sure that I'm doing at least one continuing education credit course or whatever it is that you want to call them. And I add it to my organizer. And then I also look at my overview tab. I see what states are coming up for renewal. Yes, it kind of stinks when there's a couple of them coming up within a certain amount of time, but I go in then to the state. I go, okay, I got this, I got that, I got this. Oh, I don't have that. This is what I'm going to have to focus on. And I kind of schedule that out in my calendar so that to make sure that I am on top of my continuing education. So those are the tools that I use to make sure that I am not only organized with my licenses and continuing education credits, but also I am on top of my renewals and the continuing education credits that I need for those renewals. I hope that you found that these tools were helpful, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you found this video helpful, I would love it if you could please give me a good like down below as I'm trying to grow my telemedicine chick community, and also make sure that you subscribe down below so that you don't miss a video that I release every once in a while when it comes to helping empower you and in supporting you in your telemedicine career. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you soon.